Are you a married woman? If yes, it is possible that you may not get a job at Foxconn, one of Apple's biggest suppliers. That is, if you believe a Reuters investigation, which has firmly placed the makers of the iPhone in the eye of a major storm. Now, according to Reuters, this hiring policy is based on the grounds that married women have more family responsibilities than their unmarried counterparts. The company's view was that there were many issues post-marriage, quote unquote. Among them, women have babies after marriage. The Reuters report also pinpoints family duties, pregnancy, and higher absenteeism as reasons why Foxconn did not hire married women at the plant located in Sri Perumbudur, which is near the city of Chennai. Many of them also said that jewelry worn by married Hindu women could interfere with the production of the iPhone. Now, between January 2023 and May 2024, Reuters conducted over 20 visits to Sri Perumbudur, where they engaged with a number of job seekers regarding the hiring procedure. During their investigation, Reuters journalists uncovered concerning practices related to job advertisements and recruitment for assembly positions at Foxconn. They found that 4 of Foxconn's third-party recruiters had informed potential candidates via WhatsApp that only unmarried women were eligible for these jobs. The job ads reviewed by Reuters did not mention any opportunities for men, further indicating a discriminatory hiring policy based on marital status. Now, Reuters mentions that in response to its report, Apple and Foxconn admitted shortcomings in their hiring practices in 2022 and mentioned efforts made to rectify those issues. However, all instances of discriminatory practices documented by Reuters at the Sri Perumbudur plant occurred during 2023-2024. Neither company addresses these incidents from the later period in their responses. However, when Mirror Now reached out to them, Foxconn vigorously refuted allegations of employment discrimination and emphasized that married women are welcome to wear traditional ornaments, while highlighting that in the latest round of hiring, almost 25% of women are married. Now, we are not taking sides in this Foxconn versus Reuters argument, given that we have not conducted this investigation ourselves. However, what is undeniable is the diminishing presence of Indian women in the labor force. According to data from the International Labour Organization, India faces a significant gender disparity in employment, with a stark gap of 50.9%. Only about 20%, actually 19.2% of women participate in the labor force, contrasting sharply with 70% of men. Furthermore, in the World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Report 2022, India ranked 135th out of 146 countries, trailing behind smaller neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Nepal. It is among 5 nations, including China and Pakistan, where gender inequalities exceed 5%, highlighting persisting challenges in achieving gender equality in economic participation and opportunity. So should companies who try to be a sly fox and circumvent the law of the land be allowed to con you? Let's put that question to our guest this evening. Rituparna Chakraborty is an independent director joining us on the broadcast. Lloyd Matthews is a business strategist with us, and Mamta Mohapatra is a professor at IMI joining us on the broadcast as well. Thank you very much. Rituparna, the study that Reuters has put out, the investigative report that Reuters has put out, should it shock us? I understand that it's a big headline because it's because it's Foxconn, because of the fact that this is iPhone, because it's Apple, it's one of the most valuable companies in the world. But would you say that most CEOs, if they had a choice, would pick an unmarried woman over a married woman to hire?
I'm absolutely not shocked. So that's why I'm a little surprised by the kind of interest it has generated. And I'm also not in a position to validate Reuters study, nor have anything to say about any specific recruitment practices followed by Foxconn and Apple. But what I have to say is that it's a known fact for years that there is a discrimination based on marital status for women. And it is something which you did not need an incident of this sort or a report of this sort to kind of shake us up into having this form of debate. In different industries, irrespective of size, irrespective of reputation, this particular aspect has still not gone away. And interestingly, the fact that asking questions of this sort at any part of the hiring process to women is outright discrimination. That sensitivity today also many hiring managers and HR managers do not have. And honestly, there are ways and means by which sometimes people try to defend the need to ask this question. So the fact, I mean, it's not something which happens just in manufacturing setup, Shreya. This is an unsaid reality, probably in any type of organization. So I don't think any organization can say that this kind of implicit discrimination doesn't exist today. Now, it may not be all across the board, but there is a large section of hiring managers who make choices based on it. And whether it's justified or not, that's honestly a very different debate, and we'll come to it. But the fact that it exists is a reality today. And I was just looking at the National Health Survey data. It's a little dated. I don't have access to the latest one. It's about 2021 data. The 32% of married women are part of the workforce, and 98% of married men are part of the workforce. So it's also
correct.
It's a glimpse of what's happening. Now, there could be many reasons associated with it, sure. The discrimination at workplace as well as self-choice by families or married women and the family ecosystem. But this is a reality.
True. Lloyd Matthews, it is a reality, and it's a reality far beyond Sri Perumbudur and Foxconn. I think we can all, we can all agree to that. But why? What is the hesitation? What is the problem? Look, the fact is, people do get married. Women get married and men get married. They start families. Now, it would be great if men could have kids. They can't, so women have the kids. Why penalize them for it? Why say, "Arey, bachcha paida ho jata hai, aadhe time aate nahi hai," etc., etc. I mean, all of us, everyone has professional pride. So why view married women with this kind of bias? I want to ask you what a manager or a hiring manager is thinking when a married woman is sitting in front of him.
Valid questions, Shreya. I think, should this be the case, I think there's completely no justification. Having said which, I think much like what Rituparna said, I think it's a sad reality of the workplace. And I dare say it goes well beyond India as well, right? To the question about what do managers look at, obviously managers are under pressure for targets, for objectives, and they would look at the most productive worker. But to view that in a lens of, a woman worker, especially a woman who's married, is bound to need some leave for maternity or whatever else, I think is unfortunately culturally embedded in a lot of people, but not often valid. I've been part of a few organizations, and I've seen that women in general, their productivity is as good, sometimes if not better, than males in the workforce. But even outside of the discrimination angle, I think it just makes sense for any organization, specifically a global one, to have a diverse workforce that represents the larger population of a community. I think large corporations have to recognize that when they establish a factory, a manufacturing premise, or even a software tech park, I think absorbing people from the surrounding, the local areas is part of their giving back to society. And it's not something they have to do only as per law, 2.5% of post-tax profits. I think companies have to look at it as a basic tenet. You are making money from society, you are here to make a great business, but if you're going to take people from that society for manufacturing or whatever force, don't discriminate, right? Whether it's gender, whether it's age, whether it's married or unmarried, I think it's completely unfair. I think one small
But Lloyd, the fact is, this is not about this. Lloyd, Lloyd, the point is, this is not about, I mean, this is about gender discrimination, but this is also, discrimination between married women and unmarried women. Mamta Mohapatra, I'm fairly certain that you are not surprised to see what Reuters has put out. They've done an investigation, they've spoken to people, they've put it out. But it's an unspoken secret in multiple industries that most managers will not want to hire mothers or women who are married. Because the fear is they are going to start a family, they will take 6 months leave, then they will get pregnant again and take another 6 months leave. God knows whether they'll come back or not. When they come back, will their skills be outdated, etc. Is there anything that justifies this sort of behavior?
Absolutely not, Shreya. And I'm so glad that we are discussing these issues. And from my experience, when, I would like to reiterate that organizations such as Foxconn may be doing it slyly, but this has been the norm for the past so many years. Like women have been discriminated upon, and there could be many reasons why organizations do this. Maybe they perceive, commitment issues. They are afraid that women might take career breaks. Once they are married, they would bear children. They have childcare. They have, other responsibilities. Uh, Organizations are worried about the flexibility concerns because married women would obviously want, time off from duty. And of course, there is the productivity stereotypes. Stereotypes that married women are less productive, which is very sad, or less focused on their careers. Organizations somewhere also think about this as a cost consideration because they believe that employing married women will lead to, somewhere higher costs. They have to give them maternity leave and all kinds of flexible work arrangements. But what I want to emphasize upon here is that the root of all this is somewhere the cultural, bias or the way that we have brought up men and women. So, when they are in responsible positions, men, and they see around them, or culturally they have been brought up in a certain way. So the mindset develops that,
Sure.
Women maybe are made for certain responsibilities and they may not be as effective. And once they are married, there are so many other
Gender roles
concerns.
is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. So gender roles is what you're talking about, and how
Absolutely.
they are blocks of concrete in a patriarchal setup. We leave it there, but ladies and gentlemen, if the matter ever gets to the Supreme Court, there is a precedent. In the 1960s itself, the Supreme Court had set the precedent. There was a pharma company which, once a woman got married, would simply terminate their services in the labeling, if they were in the labeling sector. The Supreme Court said you can't do it. You simply cannot do it. This is not acceptable. So the Supreme Court of India is very clear. Maybe the CEOs in India need to be very clear as well. We leave it there for the moment. I wish this could have been, a larger debate. For the moment, though, I've run out of time. Rituparna Chakraborty, thank you very much. Someday, we'll probably have a longer debate on this. Lloyd Mathias, thank you very much. And Mamta Mohapatra, thank you very much as well.